Monica Das, and you are with me on the Daily Dispatch. Let me quickly take you through the top stories in the startup world today. Policy Bazaar, Graphy, and Six Sense Ventures have some interesting news today. PB Fintech subsidiary, that is Doc Prime Technologies, has invested around $7.5 million in telehealth and wellness platform Visit Health. PB Fintech is also the parent company of Policy Bazaar and Paisabazaar. Now, Doc Prime has said in a statement that this is the brand's first investment in an end-to-end telehealth and wellness platform. A second story today, Unacademy-owned Graphy has acquired edtech platform Spay for $25 million. This acquisition is expected to increase the brand's reach and enhance its product offerings. Now, Spay will continue to operate by itself after the acquisition. The platform is a place for content creators to produce customized courses in a variety of formats. A third story today, reports suggest that Six Sense Ventures is about to close its third fund at 2,500 crore rupees. As per sources, it is finalizing investments from large institutions that include listed pharma and consumer companies. It plans to make about 35 investments with an initial check size of 40 to 50 crore rupees, which can go over 100 crore rupees, including follow-on rounds.
Well, on this very special interview, I have with me a woman who's leading a very interesting brand. I have with me Vinita Singh from Sugar Cosmetics. Thank you very much, Vinita, for joining us today on the Daily Dispatch. I want to begin by talking to you about the kind of competition in the cosmetic space. Suddenly, we're seeing a lot of acquisitions, a lot of fundraising activity. It's really heating up, isn't it? Are you feeling the heat out there?
Hi, Priya. Firstly, thank you so much. It's always so much fun to have this chat with you. Yes, it's a very, very exciting time. I think both the two categories. One is, of course, the whole D2C sector, and then, of course, beauty as a category. There's been a lot of action anyways in the last 2 years because COVID has accelerated online consumption. COVID has accelerated growth for all the digital first brands. I mean, if you look at like simple numbers, like the number of impressions on a monthly basis on our social media properties pre-COVID would be about 100 to 150 million. That's now 360 million. So, there's been a massive jump in the time women are spending on their devices, and that makes it easier for brands like us to get discovered, to engage with consumers. So purely through digital, we are able to reach more than 40 million unique women every month. And that's pretty exciting for digital first brands. And D2C as a category has also been attracting a lot of interest from investors. And it's always a good thing when a category gets heavily funded because it makes space for a lot of action, both from the side of consumers coming online as well as retailers sitting up and noticing and partnering more with D2C brands to scale them. On the other side, beauty as a category is doing phenomenally well. So fundamentally, it's a category with very high gross margins. It's a category with very high repeats. It's unfortunately been a category which did not have a lot of VC interest, probably because not too many VCs are women. But again, in the last couple of years with the whole Nykaa IPO story, as well as a lot of fundraising and money going into this category, I think beauty as a category itself is getting a lot of limelight. So we're very excited. We're seeing phenomenal growth numbers in the last couple of months. We've actually at a 2.5 times run rate of what we were last year at the same time. We're at a brand sales of 500 crore annualized run rate. And it's, we're seeing that this whole momentum should help us close this year at about a 2x of last year's, as well as very, very close to break even. So I think we're looking forward. October is the beginning of the festive season, where there's also a lot of euphoria. And we're seeing every day we're clocking new record sales on both our online and offline part of the business. And we're expecting this momentum to continue till the end of February and help us set off a lot of new records.
Right, some interesting numbers out there, but I want to understand in terms of the kind of money that's in the market. We're seeing other players very well capitalized, war chests of more than 500, 700 crore out there. Do you think Sugar is well positioned to take this on in terms of having this kind of availability of liquidity to be able to pump into aggressive growth?
Yeah, so I think the best source of capital is, of course, the customer. And I think the good thing is that, as a brand, we've always been, for us, Q3, Q4 are profitable quarters. Our CVC fundraising that we've done earlier in February, that's helped us really prepare for a peak season, which is why we've also been able to launch into a very aggressive ATL campaign with Tapsi as the face of the campaign. It's called the Bold and Free campaign, and that's given us phenomenal results. So I think as a brand, there are, as a company, there are of course two ways to grow. There is the acquisition route, which is acquire multiple brands and grow, and then there is this build. Now, where we see Sugar go is that Sugar, the cosmetics market, color cosmetics market is about 10,000 crore. And we see the brand in the next 12 months being in the top 3 brands in the color cosmetics market. And with the next 2 quarters being profitable. So I think that's for us, this gives us the opportunity to hit that 500 crore net revenue, which is the company turnover next year. And that's in line with what our overall strategy is. So our focus is to first get to that top 3 brands in color cosmetics space. And of course, we keep our eyes and ears open to other strategies using the capital that we have to consider acquisitions, to consider adjacent categories. And that's a strategy that we will be open to. But right now we are very laser focused on these millennial women, because the kind of momentum, the kind of growth that we are seeing, I think this is unprecedented, and we are able to, we want to stay focused on that strategy for now. End this year on a high in terms of record sales, as well as a very healthy bottom line focused business apart from that. And next year we may as well consider building a war chest of our own, if that makes sense, from the perspective of getting into a few other categories, or considering a few other acquisitions.
Right, you briefly mentioned about the festive period and how big the festive period could perhaps be for a brand like yours. Or what are your expectations out there from these 2 months? Any categories that you feel will be driving growth this festive season?
The festive season is a lot about color cosmetics, and color cosmetics, especially lips and face, is going to be driving about 65% of our business. And the other categories, which include eyes, face, etc., would be eyes, skin, etc., would be driving the remaining 35% of our business. We are seeing, as I mentioned earlier, in October we're expecting brand sales of about 40 to 50 crores for the month, and continue the momentum well into November, December, and that would help us really close the year and at a net revenue which is about 2.5 times of last year. This growth will be primarily driven by our core categories, which is lip makeup, which is now seeing a tremendous rebound. So in the last 2 weeks, we're seeing that the whole lipstick under the mask phenomenon is really taking off, because women are beginning to shop for Navratris and Karwa Chauth and Diwali and other festivals that are coming up. So it's primarily going to be driven by these core capacities. We tried a few experiments in the skincare space as well, which have turned out pretty well. So we expect that, as along with eye makeup, to make up the remaining 30-35% of our business.
A final question, as far as offline expansion is concerned, what kind of plans do you have in the offline space?
So offline has worked out pretty well for us, because we've been able to grow the channel profitably. And the good thing is that even in the most competitive of markets, in offline, you don't have the worry about customer acquisition costs, because once you've invested in setting up presence in the store, your customers automatically come in, and there's a very high repeat. So we are already present in about 380 countries in 25,000 points of sale. We have 70 of our own stores. By December, we expect to be in 100 stores of our own. So offline is actually a very important part of our business. We get 50% of our revenue from offline. And we will, so now that we've invested in the expansion, we are seeing some phenomenal sales numbers on a per store basis. And we expect to continue that momentum over the next 12 months, because we're also seeing this whole revenge shopping, where people are beginning to flock back into malls and general trade stores, because that's what they end up doing during peak festive season.
All right, Vanita, on that note, many thanks for joining us today on the Daily Dispatch. It's been a pleasure speaking with you as always. Thanks for your time.
Thank you, Priya.
With that, we come to the end of this episode. Have a good day and stay safe.